Are you trying to figure out how to build your Lies of P character without being spoiled in other videos? So am I. So I decided to compile everything I've learned and observed into one video without the spoilers. This is also explained by me, a person mostly new to Souls-like games, but I'll do my best to explain things as I understand them. The first thing to consider when building your character in Lies of P, and the first option you have in the game, is choosing your class. There are 3 classes to choose from in the beginning: balance, dexterity, and strength. If you want to be fast and light, then I would suggest dexterity. If you want to hit hard and consequently move slow, then I would suggest strength. Another thing to consider is, do you think you'll be blocking a lot, or will you focus more on dodging? If you think you'll be blocking more, here's a visual example of a light weapon blocking versus a heavy weapon. And both weapons are +0, so there isn't any leveling factor in play in this example. If you're still unsure what you want to do, I think balance is the best way to go, since it gives you even stats in both fields to start. And if you're still unsure, you could look up the weapons in the game and decide based on which one you think looks the coolest. If you want to build based on specific weapons, Extra Life has a few videos on the later game weapon builds that I'll link in the description as well. You're not locked into any of these classes the second you choose them. If you want to start with a heavy weapon and decide you don't like it, you can switch to a lighter weapon. So I wouldn't worry too much about the choice you make. When you decide your class and it comes time to level up, you'll see a screen like this. Here's an explanation of them all for you. Vitality levels up your health and guard regain. Vigor levels up your stamina bar, the green bar on the screen. It lets you hit and dodge more before it needs to be recharged. Capacity levels up your weight. Every item you equip affects your capacity. The weapons, Legion arms, amulets, and defense parts each have a weight. I don't believe the items you carry, such as consumables or throwable items, count as weight though, so you don't have to worry about picking up too many items. From what I understand, 0 to 30% capacity means you're lightweight, 31 to 60% means you're medium weight, and anything above 60 means you're heavyweight. From every article I've read and video I've seen, it's important to keep your capacity percentage under 60%, otherwise you're too heavy. I think it would be pretty hard to have a capacity percentage of under 30% though, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. As long as it's under 60%, you're fine. To check your weight capacity, you can see it in the character info menu screen and also the equipment menu screen. Motivity and Technique are where your weapon choice becomes important. If you're using a heavy weapon, you'll most likely want to level up your motivity. If you're using a lighter weapon, you'll most likely want to level up your technique. To make sure of the one you want to level, you can go to your equipment view and look at the stats here. And this will be the only time I'll show spoilers just for some of the weapons, just to give you a visual example. The higher the letter for that category, the better the stats scale. See how the bone-cutting saw blade sword has a B in motivity and a D in technique? That means leveled motivity works better for this weapon and leveled technique isn't as helpful. And finally, there's advanced. Advanced is a little more advanced than what I understand, but it basically works well with elemental weapons and helps you become more resistant to status ailments. I haven't really touched this stat, and I don't think I'd recommend leveling it if you're just starting the game, as it takes a while to get an elemental weapon. Now, it's important to know that there are soft caps when it comes to leveling up these stats. Samurai Gamer has a helpful guide on these soft caps, and I'll put a link in the description of the article. Just know there's a little bit of spoilers in it. The soft caps for motivity and technique are 40, advanced is 30. Capacity doesn't seem to have a soft cap. But what are soft caps? These are when the benefits of leveling these abilities fall off, so you don't really want to go above 40 motivity and technique because there's not a lot of purpose in doing so, but you can if you want. Okay, now that all of that is out of the way, you may be wondering, what should I level up first? Personally, I think it depends on your playstyle. I do think it's important to start with leveling vitality and vigor a bit first, that way you have more health and stamina to work with. Then I'd level up your weapon stat, technique, motivity, advanced, and then capacity as needed. But if you don't get hit a lot, like you're super good, maybe you want to work on your vigor first and then your technique. For Endgame, which seems to be anywhere from level 70 to 90, the most common stats I found recommended for each stat is vitality, anywhere from 30 to 35, vigor, anywhere from 20 to 25, capacity, anywhere from 25 to 40, and technique or motivity, 35 to 40. Advanced, I didn't see too much for the recommended stat for advanced, but 30 is the soft cap, so probably nothing over that. But again, this depends on your playstyle, and it's not something you 100% have to follow. It's just kind of interesting to know where you should be at, or where people think you should be at. And if after all this you find out you hate your technique build and you wished you would have done a motivity build, you can respec. This becomes available to you at the end of chapter 7. As one final note and word of caution about leveling up, you occasionally get ergo. You can use these items to help you level up quickly, and sometimes the bosses will drop special ergo. It's called rare ergo. I strongly suggest not to use these items and hold on to them because you can redeem them for special items later on in the game. These ergo are not under ergo. They're under the rare ergo category. So just make sure you use regular ergo and not rare ergo and you'll be fine. Okay, hopefully that answered some of your Lies of P build questions without spoiling too much. Is there anything else you have questions on? Maybe I can help. Thank you for watching.